So that shiny new game just came out, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and you want to know if it's worth your time, right? Well, let's take a look at the game first and first impressions. Keep in mind this is not a full review, this is a quick look at the game. I played the game for about 2.5 hours, so I'll show some footage of the game while describing it and giving a few thoughts on it. There's 4 difficulties and I played on the default one, moderate. I played on 1440p with a 3080 Ti and all settings on high and DLSS on quality. Performance was good, like really good. Surprisingly good, really. The game was always very smooth and there was no stutters or crashes. Graphically, the game looks amazing. It's one of the best games graphically I've played, and I'm only on the high settings on 1440p. I can only imagine how good the highest settings at 4K would look. This kind of smooth gameplay with these kinds of visuals is actually insane. I don't know if I've played any game that's looked this good and actually felt this smooth to play. You begin the game as Indiana Jones, walking through a forest with a few people. The game is also in first person, which I like. You're in South America, and the year is 1936. One guy tries to betray Indiana, but is stopped, and the other guy goes with him into a ruin, or temple, or whatever it is. That guy is actually kind of funny too. He seems to freak out and make faces. In this place, you can swing across a pit using the lasso and disarm some traps. You grab the golden statue that's just sitting there, but then the traps start to go off, and the place starts to collapse. The guy you were with steals the statue and runs off. However, when you catch up to him, he's dead. So the statue is now yours. But as it turns out, that was either a dream or a memory from the past. Indiana wakes up and it's now a year into the future, 1937. Indiana is a professor at a college in Connecticut. He woke up because there were sounds of breaking and glass. A man broke in and stole a mummified cat. That guy was like 8 feet tall too, real big. He left behind a pendant on accident, and that pendant implies he's from the Vatican, so Indiana heads there to meet one of his contacts. In this game, you'll be able to find items just laying around to pick up, and some items are just miscellaneous information, but others will be relevant to your mission, like finding keys to unlock doors. You have a map that you can pull up to check where to go for the mission, and also you have a journal with notes, newspaper articles, pictures, and stuff like that. I pulled up the map pretty frequently because some locations are actually kind of big, well, ish. I'd say the game is semi-open world. You can walk around a portion of the college, and when you get to the Vatican area, you can walk around there too. That is a much bigger area to walk around though. There's several areas and pathways, and even some verticality. You'll be ziplining, climbing, and using your lasso to climb up or over areas. You do have an inventory, and it'll pull up a little screen to the side, but I basically never used that. I just used a specific key on my keyboard to use items that I needed, like bandages or food. Whenever I had a key in my inventory to use, walking up to a door would auto-select it for me, so there's not too much need to actually open the inventory. Now let's talk about combat. You have a whip that can also be used in combat, but it's not that effective and doesn't do much other than push people back. Fist fighting and melee weapons are the main ways to fight. By default, you just use fists, and you can charge up a heavy attack or attack fast. You can also parry attacks with correct timing. Doing that opens up the enemy for an easy hit. Some enemies are stronger than others when fist fighting too. As for melee weapons, there's a lot of them all over the place. Bottles, hammers, batons, and so on. You can pick them up to attack enemies with, but they will break after a few hits. You can also throw them at enemies too. As for guns, well, at one point I picked up a rifle and shot some enemies, but you don't keep it. Once the ammo is gone, so is the gun. Indiana does have a revolver handgun though, but to be honest, I forgot about it. I haven't even used it once. The fist fighting and melee weapons have been more than adequate for combat. I'd say combat wise, it's well balanced between fighting and stealth. You can do either one or both. You can crouch by enemies or just attack flat out. Combat isn't that difficult on the moderate difficulty, so if you want more challenging combat, then you might want to up your difficulty. Also, you can lay on your stomach to get into some smaller areas or to hide. I did not realize I could lay on my stomach until much later into the game. What I really like about this game is its sense of adventure. As you're uncovering a mystery, you'll also be discovering other things at the same time. One thing I really love is hidden passages in games. So when you can turn a picture frame and make a stone wall move, then I'm super into that. There's no character levels, but you can upgrade yourself. You have to find certain books while exploring, and then you can pull up your map and switch over to the books tab, and you can see all of the upgrade books that you found. They cost points though, and you get points from doing activities in the game, like exploring, doing quests, photography, and so on. The upgrades depend on what books you find. For example, when I looked at my books, I had Lucky Hat 1, which means if my character is knocked out, he can stand back up again for round 2. It's basically another life. But there's some other upgrades too, like more stamina recovery and stronger fist fighting, for example. You also have money, and I haven't even used much of it yet. I'm 2 hours in, and there's been nothing to buy except some maps I came across and a camera that was needed for the mission. Apparently, you can buy supplies later on in the game, like health, ammo, and equipment, and I guess you can upgrade your gear too. I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm still in the Vatican City area of the game right now, and I got off the game after coming across a nun, well, someone impersonating a nun. She had binoculars out and seems to be having her own investigation. Her sister twisters missing. I think this game is amazing. I had no expectations for this game, and I am blown away by how awesome this is. Graphics, voice acting, characters, gameplay, combat, it's all there and it's all fun. This is an easy game to recommend for anyone interested in single player games or Indiana Jones. I still can't believe how good this game is. This is one of those games I plan on fully playing and beating, and I'll have fun doing it too. Though that's my personal opinion. Whether or not this is your type of game, I'll see you on the next one.